Apparently, Madden doesn't think as highly about Pat Surtain as ESPN does. Welcome into your Denver Sports Daily for August 2nd. Let's go.
Taking you through your morning headlines, it's Denver Sports Daily with Rachel V. Hill.
Madden 25 is releasing its player rankings all of this week, and Broncos cornerback Pat Surtain II fared very well as expected. Many consider him to be the top cornerback in the league, but he isn't the best cornerback in the game, or even the second best for that matter. While ESPN's player rankings have him as the top dog, Madden 25 slotted him in at number 3 overall in the NFL. You can see that Surtain has a very respectable grade of 95, but Jets star Sauce Gardner is first with a 97 overall, and Miami's Jalen Ramsey is second and 96 overall. I mean, at the end of the day, essentially, yes, Madden, the video game, is super fun, and the grades probably mean a little something, but the ESPN list definitely tops the list of what people actually think about who is the top corner. So don't get too offended, Broncos country. Madden obviously just going number 3, but we're happy that ESPN sees our cornerback as the top dog for sure. Now, speaking of the Denver Broncos, another Denver Bronco should be back very, very soon. As defensive lineman, Eyioma Uwazurike is going to be back from a gambling suspension, hopefully. Uwazurike was suspended by the NFL for the entire 2023 season after he found that he bet on NFL games, including the Broncos, while at the team's facility. There was also a matter of the Arapahoe County DA potentially pressing charges against Uwazurike, but 9 News reported earlier this week that that wouldn't be happening. Uwazurike cleared from a legal standpoint. Broncos head coach Sean Payton says that his return is imminent, and there's good news on his front, Payton said after practice on Thursday. The other day, and everything in Colorado was dropped. He had his conference call with the league office, and we fully anticipate him joining us as soon as possible. That's what Payton had to say. Payton also added that the Broncos are waiting on the league to make the final call if he will be able to come back. So yeah, good news on that front for Uwazurike, and Sean Payton made it seem very much so that he would be returning sooner rather than later. They also asked him about, how do you make sure that that player is up to standards? You know, he hasn't played in the NFL. How do you make sure that he's been working out and he's maintained his weight and all of that jazz? And Sean Payton did say that one individual in the front office with the Broncos was able to have contact with him, but also it's just, you kind of got to hope that those guys can stay healthy and, you know, are doing the work in the weight room and everything else when it comes to their diet so that they can be ready to go when they get that final call to return back to the field. And hopefully that is the case here. The Broncos also announced that they've signed rookie offensive lineman Oliver Jervis from Colorado State University. Go Rams! He was with the team in May during minicamp as a tryout player, gets the deal listed at 6'5", 305 pounds. Jarvis started all 12 games for the Rams in 2023 at offensive tackle, and he played his first 5 seasons of his career at Monmouth, including starts at offensive guard. This comes, of course, after Quinn Bailey was placed on season-ending IR after breaking his ankle on Wednesday, I believe that was. Now it's crazy, the times are flying, but on Wednesday, Sean Payton did speak on this after practice on Thursday about the new addition and an update on Quinn Bailey. Take a listen.
Update on Quinn Bailey. So there's 2 parts to the injury. He dislocated his ankle and he fractured his fibula, his smaller bone, a little further up. Next week, I don't have the day yet, but he'll have the ankle surgery. And there's probably a good chance they just leave the fibula and let it heal. But they'll look at that. But the main injury is the ankle. So they'll have that done next week. He was put on reserve injured. And then we signed the young offensive lineman we had out in camp, Colorado State, Oliver. Any questions?
So good news on that front. We also got news this morning that the Broncos have signed a new tight end and waived a rookie defensive tackle as well. So Broncos obviously keeping the stuff rolling with what they're seeing out there in camp and adding new additions. The tight end is very, very interesting. And I promise next week on Coffee Break, we will definitely be getting into that. Also, just your participation update for the week. Blake Watson returned to practice for the first time this camp after starting the summer on the non-football injury list. He had a rough start to work as he dropped the first pass thrown his way during a 7-on-7 period, but he failed to corral a low pass from Nix later in that period, as well as it bounced off of his hands. Then you got also offensive lineman Nick Gargiulo working out on the side field. Okay, sticking in the NFL, but no longer Broncos. We got to talk about some big news with Justin Herbert, who will miss a good chunk of the preseason with a foot injury. The Chargers quarterback was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis injury in his right foot. He'll spend the next 2 weeks in a walking boot, but is expected to be ready for week 1 of the regular season. I feel like that's what everybody was waiting to see. Will he be ready to go for week 1 when football actually matters? Herbert missed the final 4 games of last season with a fractured index finger. Unfortunately for Justin Herbert, it feels like he's always battling an injury, which makes me a little sad for him, obviously, but hopefully he can stay healthy this year, because I know a lot of people are waiting to see what his full ceiling is, what his actual potential is, and how he's able to kind of, emphasize that. I feel like there's, we talk about MVP honors when it comes to Justin Herbert, and we've been nowhere close to that due to injury and due to play too. So hopefully he's able to get healthy and we'll see him a little bit more this season. Another unfortunate injury that comes out of Cleveland, Browns running back D'Onta Foreman had to be airlifted to a hospital after a scary looking injury in Thursday's practice. Foreman suffered a quote unquote direct blow to the head that resulted in neck pain, according to the team. He was carted off the field to an ambulance before being taken to the hospital in a helicopter. The team says that x-rays and CT scans came back negative and that Foreman was expected to be released on Thursday, which is obviously good news. He signed with the Browns this offseason after stints with the Bears, Panthers, Titans, and the Texans. So good news, obviously, that he's going to be released, but a very, very scary situation. It'll be interesting to see when he returns back out there to the Cleveland's training camp practices this summer. So obviously we are sending our well wishes to him and hopes that he's back out there sooner rather than later. Some other news coming out, because we all know this name, Mel Tucker. We haven't talked about him in a while since he, burned CU pretty good, but former Michigan State football coach Mel Tucker is suing the university over his firing last season. Tucker was dismissed after allegations that he had sexually harassed Brenda Tracy, a rape survivor and sexual assault awareness speaker who was invited to speak to the Spartans football team. The lawsuit claims MSU violated his contract and constitutional right with a sham investigation and made defamatory comments that harmed his reputation and his career. Mel Tucker had $79 million remaining on a 10-year, $95 million contract at the time of his firing. Moving on to the Olympics now, because of course we're so lucky that all of this is getting to happen right now. It's been so much fun to watch every single day what's been happening. And I've got good news when we look at the Olympic medal count, everybody. We're back in second. There we go, with total medals of 41, 9 gold. China's still leading the way in gold with 12. But overall, really, really good to see that the U.S. with that 41 total medals. And there's some, fun stuff that's been happening. So the U.S. men's and women's basketball teams have been lights out at the Olympics so far. But unfortunately, the same cannot be said for the men's 3x3 team. The U.S. fell to 0-3 in group play after a 20-18 loss to Lithuania on Thursday. Team USA was without Jimmy Farda, who was sidelined with a leg injury, unfortunately. And then the women's 3x3 team hadn't fared much better. They're also 0-3 in the group stage. And then we could switch over to swimming, because things definitely take a change there. It's another day, another record for Katie Ledecky in Paris. After winning gold and setting an Olympic record in Wednesday's 15-meter freestyle, Ledecky broke another record on Thursday, taking silver in the women's 4x200-meter relay. It was Ledecky's 13th overall Olympic medal, the most by any American woman. So congratulations to her. She has one event left, and that is the 800-meter freestyle on Friday and Saturday. Now, the U.S. women's basketball team, we talked about them on the 3x3, but the actual team, they clinched a spot in the quarterfinals after knocking off Belgium 87-74 on Thursday. It was the 57th straight win for Team USA through Belgium. They made it pretty close. They tried, pulling within 4 points in the second half, but Brianna Stewart led the way with 26 points, while Asia Wilson put up 23 points and 13 rebounds. They will face Germany on Sunday in the final match of the group phase. Also, another cool thing, for the first time in over 6 decades, Team USA's men's 4 rowing team has won gold. The team made up of Liam Corrigan, Michael Grady, Justin Best, and Nick Mead beat New Zealand on Thursday by 0.085 seconds. This marks the U.S. team's first gold medal win in the category since 1960. So pretty cool stuff right there from the U.S. Lots of random things going on, which is really exciting. We obviously have Simone Biles becoming the most decorated Olympian ever. It's been really cool to see everything that's been happening out there, but just a few storylines to touch on with you there. So let's see. I love going to the comments. What do we got going on today, guys? It's a Friday. All right. Good morning, Rachel. Happy Friday. We will see how good PS2 is during the season. At least he's close to the top. Amen to that. He is close to the top. This is going to be the true make or break season for Pat Surtain in my eyes personally, because if he's able to go out there and continue to be as dominant as ever, then great. Everybody's going to continue to talk about him. But this is the year where you probably are starting to be a little comfortable, right? You're still on your rookie contract, but things get a little bit different here because it's time to advance your career. It's like, oh, you were really freaking good for a rookie, but now you're a veteran in the league for a couple of years. You got to be able to step it up to that next level. So I'm excited to see how PS2 fares during that. He's been getting beat a few times out at Broncos training camp, but obviously game days are a totally different conversation and to be had. Let's see. Love the show. James, thank you so much for hanging with us on your Monday and every single weekday at 10 a.m. I love being able to sit down and talk to you guys. It's definitely always super fun. Let's see. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will not be out at Broncos training camp practice today or tomorrow, which I know tomorrow, if you have tickets, it's supposed to be a really good day. Sean Payton talked about not necessarily a scrimmage, but it's going to be a different sort of training camp. So hopefully you see more 11-on-11 or 7-on-7, excuse me. But I will not be out there. We are having our wedding shower this weekend. So we have family in town and I'm excited to see all of them. The wedding festivities, everybody start this week, which is just crazy to even think about. So send me all of your good vibes. But otherwise, I will be back on Monday for Denver Sports Daily and for Coffee Break, which we'll have Marilap Monday. But I appreciate you guys so much. Also, today's episode of Coffee Break is a really good one because Sean Payton said something about the Broncos running back room without actually saying something. And it's definitely going to answer some questions on who is going to be cut from this Denver Broncos roster. So we get into that 12 p.m. Make sure you come hang out with myself and we will see you guys on Monday. Bye, everybody.